What is going on, everyone? This is Ryan with Automatic Comics. And if you are part of the CGC Comics fans Facebook group, you probably have seen this post now. But if you aren't, this one is pretty wild. You can see the headline there. It says, moved 1 million comic books today, another 2 million more to go. Now, I don't know if that's hyperbole a bit, if there's actually 3 million comics here, but there are a lot of comic books here. I mean, just a ton of them. And so that begs the question. If you had the opportunity to get something like this, would you even want it? I mean, what do you do with this? This is more than just putting something into like a storage locker. This is multiple storage lockers, big storage lockers, or just almost like your own maybe not warehouse, but like a barn or something like that, where you got to store all this stuff, and you'd want it to be temperature controlled and everything if you are taking this. And then, what is it worth to deal with that? I mean, you've got to move all this. That has expense in its own. Then, like I said, the storage and what type of value is potentially there. We do have one comparable that happened relatively recently. I'm going to talk about that one a little bit later. But first, let's just look through this, get an idea what is here in this. We'll call it a collection. But what it really looks like, a lot of it is distribution boxes. Like you can see here, it says Diamond on the box here. So whether this was from a comic shop or it was somebody who was purchasing at that level, which again, we'll touch on something, another collection that was bought maybe a year or a year and a half ago, something like that. It's hard to say. I don't know for sure. I know there are some people that have some more information about this, but there weren't a lot of details in the comments section for this buy. But some people did know about it. It was apparently in New Jersey, and I don't know if this was like from a closed out shop or something, or just a distribution warehouse, or where this all originally came from. But there are a lot of comics. So if we look at just this picture right here. If you look at how deep this is, it's like 1, 2, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe like 12 deep, maybe another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, another 12 wide. So that's like 144. We'll say 150. From another picture, these are about 10 deep. That's 1,500 boxes approximately. Could be overestimating, could be underestimating a little bit, but let's just say about 1,500 boxes just right here. And none of this is the type of stuff that are in distribution boxes. That's generally not going to be bagged or boarded. So they're packed in there. There are as many as possible in these boxes. Just insanity. But let's look at what else is here. And here's where you can see like it's about like 10 deep and just how many books are really here. And now you can see it's not just those distribution boxes. There are some other types of boxes of comics here. At least the stuff was stored away. It was like out of the elements, but still these are going to be it doesn't look like it's maybe temperature controlled. So this is going to deal with things like heating and cooling, which can have pretty big impacts on conditions of comics over time, potentially. But let's just keep going through these. You've got some here that are just stacked on shelves. I have seen collections that have bought like this before, where people this is how they stored things. They would just buy tons of them, and just stack them on shelves like this. And you get an idea of some of the stuff that's, it's just on the floor. I mean, it's everywhere, but some of it, I'm guessing, is in very good condition. I would bet that a lot of these books are actually in very good condition. However, a lot of them are probably like late 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s. Like, it's probably relatively modern stuff that is in here. And then we'll keep going here. Now, this is where you start getting to things that maybe are a little bit more promising. When you see short boxes or long boxes, where it's not just straight in the distribution boxes. And that begs the question of what other value might be in this, in this collection of books. We'll keep moving on here. Just another close-up picture of some of these, these shelves of books. You see, you got some X-Men there. We got the little Spider-Man icon down here in the corner. But it's really tough to tell, from this, what is in, this collection. Another one where you've got some in, you've got Green Arrow. I think you got Batgirl down on the floor there. And just another shot, and just the books all over the floor. And here's another one where, we've got Ninja Boy in 2001. If you were looking to put together that full run of Ninja Boy, this could be your opportunity. And again, it's like in a basement too. You can see here, it's like it's not just what you saw in those this looks kind of like a basement area where stuff is being stored too. And then you've got this, I keep going, it's more distribution boxes, just so much. Then you've got this one. This is where you start seeing things that it's like, maybe this is where some more hidden value might be, like things where you've got long boxes that maybe people haven't touched for a long time. Maybe there's some bronze or silver or, older books that are actually hidden away in here. And maybe it isn't all just, modern and late copper. But again, no idea. So those are all the photos. But a comparable that we have that actually, happened with somebody who's pretty well known in the comic book community was Jeff, Golden Age Guru. He bought a collection that had 350,000+, his estimate comics. And he bought this one along with Comic Tom. And this collection, I'm not certain if this is also the Secret Sound collection, but the big difference with this one was that this collection also had a substantial Golden Age collection with it. And so this collector, this person that he bought these from, basically what they had been doing is they were not a comic book shop or anything, but they were buying, from what he said, between approximately 10 and 20 copies of every single book that Marvel and DC put out from like 1990 or so up through, I think, like 2013, like pretty late in there. And they were just all in these distribution type boxes, all in like plastic wrap, like sealed in plastic wrap. And you didn't know what was in any box other than the box had a year on it. And so if you've watched any of the videos he's done where he's opened those, basically he'll just take a box and it has like whatever, like 1995 or something written on it. He opens it and then it's just stacks of these books. And you just go through it. And most of the boxes are, pretty worthless. I mean, it's like 50-cent books, 25-cent books, 10 cent. I mean, just books that just have virtually no value. But every once in a while, he catches a box that has, I think he had one that had like 20 copies of Batman Adventures 12, first appearance of Harley Quinn. He got them graded and a big percentage of them got 9/8. That box right there could be worth $20,000. Whereas the box right next to it might be worth $10. And so, but you have no idea what's in each one. And so that's where, if this collection here doesn't have any vintage in it, like the one that Jeff bought did, then you're just totally gambling on hoping that these have just been buried there, that they haven't been picked through. Granted, I don't know how anybody could really pick through something like this, but haven't been picked through, and that maybe you come across that occasional box that has like 10 or 20 copies of like NYX3 or Batman Adventures 12 or New Mutants 98, New Mutants 87, that kind of stuff, where you find a box that's worth $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, because they can stay in relatively decent condition, as was shown with what Jeff found, because a lot of those books that he was able to get graded came back 9.6, 9.8 once they were pressed and all of that, when they were the keys that were worth doing it. But I mean, with that collection that Golden Age Guru bought, the big selling point with that one, to me, it was probably the Golden Age stuff, like the vintage stuff. I think it had something like every issue of Batman from 2 through 100, this kind of stuff, like very nice books and valuable books. And so I think he made a video with Comic Tom. I think he paid something around 350,000 or something like that for that collection. And I imagine he, determined that he could get, maybe he could double his money or triple his money on the Golden Age stuff. And then he just deals with the moderns. And there's a lot of value in those. Like when you come across that $20,000 box, but there's also a lot of hassle with it. I think he had to like put up a barn, like a building, to house all of these books that he got. And so you've got a lot of those additional expenses and time and everything that goes with it. But because it had that Golden Age stuff with it, he could get a lot of value out of that more easily. Whereas we don't know if with this collection here, this mass of books, if that exists. And if it doesn't, man, this is this is an overwhelming task. Like, this is something that's going to take a long time to go through. You wonder what the plan is to process something like that. Like, is it just you go through and you're just looking for books that actually have value and throwing everything else out? Like, is that going to be the plan here? I mean, or do you, like, because I don't even know who you would donate it to. Like, you just like randomly put like a box at a time on the side of the street and write free on it and hope somebody takes it, of the stuff that you don't want. I don't know. It's just that I thought this was just a very interesting post. And it's one of those things where when people say like, I got a collection, it's like the books are really old. They're like 30 years old. And you go, those don't have that much value. And when somebody asks why, you point them to a post like this, where you see just like the volume that exists that's out there. I mean, this is the second collection that I've seen like this that has come out within the last, whatever it's been, year and a half or 2 years. Like I said, the one that we had here from Jeff, Golden Age Guru, and you can see it had some of these vintage books in there, some really great books, but also had a lot of these distribution boxes. And then you've got like this one here, where again, it's just endless, like probably endless, 80s, 90s, 2000s Drek is kind of how it is often referred to. But I'm sure there's some gems in there. You just got to do a lot of work to find them. But let me know in the comments, what do you think about this? Would you take on this task? I know it's tough to say without knowing exactly, what other things potentially might be in there, but man, if it's just the modern era type stuff, I don't think I could. I don't think I could take on this this level of responsibility with all these books. But again, always fun to see this stuff. Let me know in the comments, you into this, or are you just going to let this one pass? And see you on the next one.